Hello there, good morning. Greetings, everyone, beautiful people out there. We are super glad to be having you watch Wake Up Nigeria right now.
And we are especially glad that you will be spending the next 2 hours or so with us. I'm Yomi Owope.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. Now remember, we're live on tvcontinental.tv. That's our website. And of course, Facebook. Look us up at TVC Connect. For comments, make sure you use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria.
And I know we have a new meal cooking every single day of the week.
Yeah.
And today is not going to be different. is in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what's going to happen today, but
our chef is stuck in traffic. You know, it's quite rainy in Lagos this morning.
Yeah.
In some parts of Lagos, actually. So she's on her way. But hey, I'm here.
All right. Hopefully something will happen, even if the chef doesn't show.
So maybe we'll be seeing MM's cooking skills today. You just never know.
You just never know.
You never know.
It's going to be called MM's Kitchen.
Yeah.
MM's Kitchen Delight.
We're going to kick off the program today with something really interesting.
Yeah, Praise for Wowa is back. Guess what? It's going to be really nice. He will be telling us about how to intentionally build a family life industry across the continent of Africa.
Very, very important. The structure of the family has been kind of weak of recent. You need to rebuild that. Also, we'll be bringing you the scoop on the happenings in the world of entertainment. Mike Honeypot, gonna be on that one. I was trying to find some energy there. It wasn't working, but I guess, Yomi, you can help with that.
And because today is Tuesday, of course, we're going to be having, it's going to be Tech Tuesday, and elegant-looking Steph Mekuye will be here to talk to us about financial technology from the blockchain perspective. You don't want to miss that.
Yes, for all you coin brokers out there, we know ourselves. And of course, for your comments and reactions coming in on social media, Mike has us covered on that. He'll be reading them out one by one.
And finally, child's rights advocate Taiwo Akinlami will be running off the discussions this morning on teenagers and drug abuse. That's been going on for the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
And
big topic.
We're finally, hopefully, we'll be able to bring a resolution and wrap it up today. Really,
really important that parents know what is really happening and stop being in denial of that particular issue.
Yeah.
I heard from an intern where I used to work that there are so many rehabilitation centers in Lagos, but they don't even put up signboards or anything like that. Nobody knows where they are.
But they're actually not supposed to.
Yeah,
so
but I'm just
because
saying,
there's usually a stigma associated with drug abuse and drug addiction. So when somebody goes for rehabilitation and they're coming back out and you see them, then it's always, is he going to go back to drugs? You know, that kind of thing.
I'm thinking it's not the signboard really that was my point.
Oh, okay.
My issue was people don't actually know they exist.
Yeah,
so they think
be more awareness.
Yes, that they actually exist.
I agree with you. The truth is, it's not only children who actually are prone to drug abuse or codeine, as it may be. We also have women. There are also statistics that prove that a lot of married women actually
abuse drugs.
Abuse drugs.
Yeah, I heard about
that. We need to create more awareness.
Painkillers.
Yeah, we need to
create
more awareness for people to,
Which is why I felt like it was not a codeine problem. I know the ban on codeine because
but there's a problem.
There are also other drugs that get you high. People even go as far as sniffing feces. From latrines.
I heard about
lizards.
like that. And even Evostic glue. And
no, that's been a long time. Been a long time. So my point is that it's not about that particular product. There is a cankerworm that has to be rooted out more than just a product. They'll find something else.
Mental health is an issue. We need to, it's a part of our lives that we need to take very seriously. We are too caught up in so much work, so much going on around us that we do not even know when we have mental health issues. So we need to know how to identify it first of all, and then do something about it.
True. On a lighter note.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mike, Zainab Balogun got married.
Oh my God! I don't even put it that on menu, sir. It's not even there.
Which
Zainab? Which say who?
Mike is
Zainab Balogun got married.
So Zainab Balogun got married, and we have the royal wedding coming up in a few days.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to it because I know that all the stations are going to be showing it live, so it's going to be really hard to watch anything else.
I'm actually looking forward to another royal wedding.
What are these people talking about here, please?
It's ultra glam. It's ultra, it's pomp pageantry.
What are these people talking about?
Beauty, love, family. The fact that the royal family just keep it going. I don't even know how they keep it going. It feels like if you had a camera in the palace, the issues we'll be seeing will be worse than the Kardashians.
You see why I blame
I
blame our, for the first time, viewers, I blame you. It was supposed to be a hashtag that you should have made trend.
Oh, okay.
People did not step up.
Is it by trending hashtag?
No, but you know that she was
marry?
stringing you along all the while.
Really?
Because she was already engaged.
She did it. She was on point. See, we had an agreement. It was a gentlemanly and gentlewomanly agreement. You see, it was the same that happened with the kitchen. Mike for the kitchen. He traded enough and he made it happen. So that's the power that our viewers have.
Well, Mike, sadly, it's not going to happen.
We had like maybe 3 hashtags.
You need to retarget. Target someone else. Mike, target someone else, Mike. Sorry. We have to go over to the news now.
We'll go. She's on standby for us.
I'm so sorry, Mike. Be cool one. Relax. Take it easy. Get used to it. Find somebody else. Now to the news. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria have again clashed with officers of the Nigeria police in Abuja. The Shiites were protesting the continued detention of their leader, Ibrahim al-Zakzaki. They reportedly threw stones at policemen stationed in the area, and an officer sustained injuries. 2 police vehicles also got destroyed, though calm has now been restored to the area. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed by Ademorin Kuye, who seeks to void the 1-year tenure extension granted to the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress. The court also refused to end the extension of tenures of other party officials at the national, state, local government and ward levels across the country. APC's National Executive Council at its last meeting in February extended the 4-year tenure of the party officials due to expire on the 30th by 1 year. And following the development, 4 APC members aspiring to run for leadership positions in the party filed a suit challenging the extension of the tenures. And former Governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, and the ex-secretary to the Federation, Babachir Lawal, have kicked against the extension of the Yegun-led National Working Committee of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Speaking at the stakeholders meeting of the party in Yola, the aggrieved party members threatened to dump the party if its national secretariat fails to resolve the Adamawa State Congress crisis. They charged members of the faction to disregard media comments credited to the National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi that there was no parallel Congress in some states. Political observers in Adamawa State are on the view that the recent crisis rocking the state chapter of the party may cost the party dearly in 2019. And the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, has warned that the attackers of the Rivers State High Court complex must not be allowed to go unpunished. He described last week's violence as an act of intimidation of the judiciary by enemies of peace and democracy. Onnoghen says such show of shame ought not to be encouraged by right-thinking members of the Nigerian public. He also says if allowed to go unscattered, the attackers will be motivated to unleash similar attacks on the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court whenever they are displeased by the court's decisions. And as to news, we'll now bring you the weather updates.
let's take a look at the headlines in the papers.
All right, thank you so much, Mike. Straight to this morning's headlines, starting with the Punch. And the headline, graft won't end until justice catches up with corrupt leaders, says Soyinka. Serap Kakol and Campaign for Democracy back Nobel laureate. Nwankwo Ajiboye make provisional World Cup list. NNPC issues 2-year crude lifting contracts to traders. Will only recognize authorized congresses, says APC. Judges' appointment politicized, CJN laments. Bring Back Our Girls demands update on rescue of Leah Sharibu as she clocks 15. Troops rescue old man from Boko Haram, and there's a photograph there on the cover of the Punch. Banker links Fireshare to 1.2 billion naira allegedly collected from Dasuki. DCO injured, vehicles vandalized, a Shiites police clash. APC crisis cracks in NPDP as ultimatum expires. And that and other stories on the cover of the Punch this morning.
On the cover of the Nation newspaper, we have ex-PDP leaders to Buhari, rather. Shun ultimatum for talks. Baraje Oyinlola lied, says Adamu. Oshimbajo says, why loot recovery is tough. Oil prices raised to $80. Buratai to soldiers. Arrest killer bandits in 3 weeks. Page 41 has more on that. We have Commander Lieutenant Ashajuwon Amadu carrying an old man in that picture there during a crossfire operation. Really epic picture there. Speaks more than 1,000 words, if you ask me. Gunmen kill airman in NAF helipad attack. Omoagege to be at Senate today. And PDP mauls Dankwambo for president. That's what we have on the cover of the Nation.
All right. Up next is This Day and the headline, with the 2019 race wide open, where are Buhari's opponents? And then you have a map there of the country and various people who are interested in the presidency. And then Chief Justice, attack on Port Harcourt, danger to democracy. Rivers Assembly resolves to write UN, others over invasion. Abe urges president to intervene. Night Mobile, pressure mounts for disqualification of Smile over false statements. A Senate to obey court order on Omoagege's reinstatement. All on the cover of This Day.
The cover of The Guardian says, gunmen in Bayelsa attack Air Force helipad, kill airman. Air Vice Marshal orders investigation. Rivers Assembly to petition UN, EU over invasion of judiciary. President seeks reform over conventions on recovery of stolen assets. APC leaders ask, or rather task Buhari on rule of law. Judiciary needs men of honor to deal with executive recklessness, says Chief Justice of Nigeria. Federal government promises early completion of 22.3 billion naira Lagos-Ota Abeokuta Expressway. Police arraign arrested alleged Jewish worshippers for terrorism. And finally, police stall Kano Speaker's impeachment, seal off assembly, refute report of Enugu church bombing. Quite a lot on the cover of The Guardian.
Yeah, and that's all we can take for the newspaper headlines for now.
The newspaper headlines are proudly supported by Dettol. Be 100% sure.
All right, it's time for us to go on a commercial break. And when we come back, there's more on Wake Up Nigeria. Welcome back. It's time for aerobics, and we've got our fitness instructor in the building.
On standby, because it's a bit drizzly outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nigeria. Namaste. Welcome to our yoga session for this morning. And our focus will be on balancing poses. All right, they have mental and physical benefits. And as we practice along, I'll share a few with you. So, all right, so you stand with your feet hip distance width apart. And just inhale, lift up. Make sure your little fingers are facing each other. Pull your belly button to your spine. Co-activate your muscles. And just take 2 breaths here as you inhale and exhale. Keep breathing in and out. Take the last breath in and out. Now gently fall forward. And then take a halfway lift. Keep your head in line with your spine. And I'll stand this way so you can see. Now step back to high plank. If you're a beginner, you can stay this way and then you can lower down. And you come up to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. So you walk your feet to your hands and we're going to start with the first balancing pose. This is just inhale, lift up. Now we're going to do the eagle pose. Now you gently take your right leg over your left leg. This could challenge your pose or your stability. And then gently lower down. And then take your right hand under. Lift your hands so that it's in line with your shoulders. Pull your belly button in and try to breathe. Oopsie. All right, it's a balancing pose and that's what it's about. It helps you to maintain focus and calm and helps you to keep away distractions. Inhale. And now we're going to do it for the other side. Take your left leg over your right leg. Sink your hips towards your heels. And then take your left hand under. If you find this very difficult, you can just go by the wall and let the wall support you as you lower down. Pull your belly button into your spine. Lift your hands up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back up to center. Second pose is the airplane pose. Inhale, lift up. And as you exhale, take your right leg up and then gently press back. Palms facing the floor. Pull your feet towards you. Inhale. And now you can just, in your mind, fly to your favorite destination in the world. And stay there and just lower down for 5, 4, as low as you can go. 3, 2, 1, come back up to center. Keep breathing in and out. Inhale. And as you exhale, lift your left leg up. Press back. And just hold it there. Now try and see if you can lower. It's okay, you could stumble. I mean, life is full of obstacles. So it's all right if you just wiggle through it. But the most important thing is to keep your focus. Come back up to center. Inhale. Now this time around, we're going to try to do a tree pose. You can place your leg by your ankle, or you can lift it up here, or if you're advanced, you can put your leg right here, depending on what suits you. But today, I'll just go with this. Now you can lift your hands up this way, bring it to your heart center, or lift it up wide, whatever you choose. So for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, choose your variation. This time around, I'll just put my hands up this way. Inhale. Exhale. Take 2 breaths here. Balancing poses help you to keep your focus and, keep far away from your distractions or deal with distractions. Take 1 last breath in and out. So we're going to take the vinyasa again. Inhale. Exhale. Take a halfway lift this way, like I showed you before. Step back to high plank or choose your variation. Lower down. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Whew. Now walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. And just stay here for a bit. Now see if you could close your eyes and keep your focus as you inhale and exhale. Activate your muscles. Pull your belly button to your spine and just be here. Inhale. Exhale. Make sure you're planting your hands together and just try to see if you can press in a little bit to create that tension within your muscles. Inhale. Exhale. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Now we're going to take 10 breaths here if time allows. Inhale. Exhale. Close your eyes. Inhale. And as you breathe in and out, just think about your day today and think about what you're going to do. And think about how you're going to be calm. And think about the results you would have today. Think about the distractions that might come your way and just decide today that throughout you would keep your focus, you would keep your equanimity. It's okay to stumble sometimes, but through it all, you would be fine. Inhale. Exhale. Right now you should be at your 5th breath. Just keep breathing in and out. Remember to close your eyes. Inhale. And as you exhale, you can begin to say in your mind, I am calm, I am focused, I am productive, I am peaceful, I am positive. Find the words in your mind and choose the words that best resonate with you. Inhaling, and it's the exhale. So one more time, just lift your hands up. Inhale, exhale, fall forward. We're going to take our vinyasa again. All right, take a halfway lift. Inhale, step back to high plank, and then gently lower down. You can choose your variations. Come up to upward facing dog, and back to downward facing dog. Walk your feet to your hands, and just lift up high. Inhale, mountain pose, also known as Tadasana. You're tall and strong like a mountain. Nothing shakes you, nothing disturbs you throughout your day. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, take your last breath. Exhale, bring your heart to your heart center, and just bow down and say namaste. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful day.
All right, thanks so much for that. I hope you learned a thing or two from yoga. Yesterday we had some meditation as well on the show, so it's nice, it's nice. So welcome back. It's believed that when a family gets it right, society will also get it right. Now, Praise for Wowe is joining us to shed more light on this statement of fact. Now, you're welcome to join us this morning. Now, I didn't know today was the International Day of the Family.
Oh yeah, May 15th of every year is the International Day of the Family by the United Nations.
Yeah.
You know, as Africans, we hardly talk about it and we hardly do anything about it.
And it's very strange that Africans don't talk about it, but you know, the entire African society is rooted on the family, not just the nuclear family, but the extended family.
Absolutely, you know, we're people are into ourselves. You know, in the UK, for example, if you're hungry, you can be hungry forever. You know, but here, I mean, you can go from house to house. Your family members. I mean, you see people still living within the family at 32, at 33. So we're a family, we're closely knit family system in Africa. Yeah.
Let's talk about the challenges of the 21st century with regards to the family, because one of our challenges in Africa is also we're modeling a lot of things after the Western world. So now we've moved to the big city, you know, and so you have your nuclear family, and how do you create that balance between that family and your extended family as well?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say that we're modeling a lot of things after the Western world. I would say that a lot of awareness is now coming, because there are so many things that we have that is working for us, and there are so many things that is self-sabotaging, you know, about us, you know, where people just barge into you. They don't even care. Someone just arrives at your door and says, I'm a cousin to someone from your village, and you can tell them, and you realize that over time, people have done, the generations past did that a lot, that eventually when it was time for them to start sending their children to school, they didn't have money. Some of those people came with their village problems, and children were molested. All kinds of things happened, you know. So the 21st century, the awareness that is coming right now is a culture shock for many of us in Africa, because before now, the women used to stay at home, the men will go to work, you know, but now the women go to work, the men go to work, so there's a conflict.
And there's also a strain
as
well,
so the men are confused about, so who now does the cooking, who is now the breadwinner, because a lot of women are now the breadwinner, you know, so it looks like their ego is being bashed, and adjusting to that new trend and creating a system that makes everything work, balancing work with home becomes a problem.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk more about this, but we're going to take a short break now, and of course when we come back, we're going to talk more about the family with Praise for Wowe. Welcome back. We're still with Praise for Wowe. We're talking about the International Day of the Family. And we're talking about the challenge of families, especially African families in the 21st century. The fact that there's reversal of roles. People don't spend enough time with their kids. Sometimes kids are growing up wayward. We're talking about drug abuse the other day. So lots of things are happening. Information overload. How do you find a balance in today's family system?
Okay, I think the first thing we need to get back to is the dignity of humanity, where we don't think roles, we think teams. right? So if it's a team-centered family system, it becomes very easy.
So team.
So if it's a team, then you won't say, oh, because I'm the goalkeeper, I have the opportunity to score, I won't score for the family. You won't say, because I'm not the goalkeeper, I have the opportunity to keep the ball out of my net, I wouldn't do it. So what we had before now were specific roles where daddy will sit in front of TV, daddy will make provisions available, mommy would cook and all those kind of things. But that's not a team-based kind of thing, you know, because it was insulting for dad to wash his plates. It was insulting for you to serve him without like 3 mates or 5 mates and all those kind of things. So we need to get back to a team-centered relationship where I see you as my teammates, I see you as my friend. Now, if that is what we see, then it will no longer matter who owns the money, because the money will no longer be my money or your money. It will be the internally generated revenue of the family. And that's why now we promote family systems, wherein you can actually create systems, because when you create the systems, then you know the system affects how you raise your kids, it affects how you do your work. You know, whatever you do for the team, and it's not just about you, it's about the family, which includes you and your children.
I like that. I like that you're bringing up this topic of the team. But how about where tradition is also clashing with the realities of modern life? So tradition could be the way I was raised. So a woman has been raised that it's the man that provides. So no matter how much she has, she doesn't want to share it. And also a man has also been raised that, look, I have to provide for my family. I can never ask my wife to assist me or whatever it is. So these kinds of things cause rifts within relationships.
It will cause rifts, and that's why you see when a culture is not based on fairness, equity, justice, and love, right, it will not stand the test of time. And that's what we're seeing, that we've believed a whole lot of things which worked then. That's why they say that culture is the way of life of the people at every point in time, which means culture is progressive. So as awareness comes, then we need to change with the awareness. So you see that the problem people are going to have is someone was raised in a family that looks like a first world family where there's orderliness and everything works. You know, someone else is raised from a third world family where there's disorderliness, and they marry themselves. So there's going to be friction. But awareness needs to come. The two people need to understand that we need to make this marriage work. And for it to work, we cannot hold on to your position, because we say that marriage is the coming together of two individuals from two different nations to create a new nation whose culture will promote the best interest of all and will give our world rest. Which means when we come together, yes, you have your culture, I have my culture, but what culture do we want to subscribe to as a family now? What values will drive what we want to do? How do we get the best out of each and every one? You know, that discussion is now what families need to begin to have, and that's why we now advocate for family vision, family values. You know, you create an entire governing system, because the most powerful government, incidentally, is not the federal government, it's the family government, because the federal government is a victim of the family government. And once we get it right and create a system that can deliver a predictable society, then we'll have new leaders who actually understand what it means to obey rules and follow other leaders and whatever.
Well, a lot of the things that you're saying, they sound very clinical, like scientific. Like I'm going to be sitting down with my wife and kids and saying, okay, so what is our value as a family? Number one is so and so. As in, we're actually going to do that, or is it something that you just...
A lot of people now do it. In fact, that's part of what we teach and advocate. And over the last 1 year, I've seen a lot. I mean, their homes I get into right now, and I see their family vision, you know, because you see, Africans were used to just doing things anyhow. We don't document. And that's why it looks like the Western world have gone ahead of us, because there's documentation that they can refer to. So we don't have a system. We don't understand why we do what we do, right? And that's why we keep sabotaging ourselves. So now couples need to talk. Communication is the bedrock of every relationship. An average African couple will not talk about the most important things about themselves. So this brings I mean, when I do 13 weeks with couples to install the system, they now realize that, hey, how come we've been married for 20-something years? We've never talked about this. We've never seen this. And we keep hurting because people suffer a lot in silence. And that's why people are getting depressed and what have you. So it brings people to begin to talk about what really matters.
Wow. Thank you so much, Prince, for joining us. So there's an international family life conference taking place
Yes, there's
today.
African Family Life Delegates Conference today.
Wow. Excellent. So that's at what location?
Yeah, it's I mean, it's something we do every International Day of the Family, and it's free at Sheba Event Center, Mobala Jibankanton Way. I mean, you can find your way there.
All right, thanks so much. And your social media handle, of course, is at
Praiseful everything.
All right, thanks so much. We're heading on over to for some entertainment news, and Mike and Honeypot have got us covered.
Just working on my pose. Okay, all right, thank you very much.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know.
Are you sure?
I'm hungry, actually.
Okay.
actually, eat before I slept last night. So, like, I don't think I even took lunch yesterday.
Okay, so I think we'll actually get something for you.
And there's no chef this morning. Voila, D. All right, welcome. This is Entertainment News, and I've got the one and only Honeypot with me in the house. It's always great to have you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have something quite interesting. As much as I did send the show, but then this news is quite interests me. MC Galaxy calling out
yes.
Miracle Ikechukwu, the winner of Big Brother 2018. It's quite interesting, right?
Yes, it is, because he said that he asked E-Money for 1 million naira for votes. And, well, I don't know. Is it that Miracle does not even know anything about this? So he's saying that he should come all out to, you know, thank him.
Thank
you. It wants that gratitude. And yes, I know how it feels when you do something for someone and that person has not thanked you.
Man.
You're waiting on that person to say thank you to
you. Don't understand. Something happened yesterday. I wasn't having a very good day yesterday. I was related to along these lines. When you help somebody, when you actually give somebody money, and rather than you don't even keep it on neutral terms, you're actually insulting me or something. Omo, I was paranoid, so I can understand where the guy's coming from.
Okay, yes, because I think I did something too like that, and the person was not going to say thank you. No, not that the person was not going, but like I got that thank you like in 3 days or 3 days after.
It's like you are begging for the thank you.
It's okay, but it's just good for you to appreciate stuff. But now he's saying that Miracle should just remain humble because he just likes that part of him, even.
But then at the same time, he didn't ask you to vote for him. You could have just chilled in your own place.
Maybe it's because of E-Money and because of the money E-Money gave him to vote.
I like that, the money, E-Money.
Like
all right, okay. But then, hey, come on, you didn't have to. Moving on from that, Im Goda is doing something very nice.
Oh, yes. Oh, wow. So you don't want to say I go die. That is his name, oh. I mean, do you know his surname? His surname is actually Agoda.
Okay, Agoda.
So, like,
the comedian. You know, he has been doing he's quite an inspirational person, you know, and this is the latest he's doing.
It is laudable. It is commendable. You can go on and on saying all good things about this. So he released a 3D photo of a hospital he's building in his community. And so, but one thing, he said that this is the part of United Nations, or in line with United Nations Goal 3.
Yeah.
So I am wondering...
You know, definitely he would want partnership with it. And you're looking at, okay, the health sector, there's a lot that needs to be done. I mean, recently I heard about somebody who was unable, a number of hospitals that don't even have oxygen. And that is about when there's an emergency situation, that's like the first thing. That's like the first thing a hospital is supposed to have. So I think that he is a very laudable effort. Kudos to him. We should build more institutions like this.
Giving back to the society. This is a beautiful one.
You know, so I mean, considering that when we are one country that spends so much in medical tourism, great one. Agoda.
Well done.
Wonderful. Great one. And then this is another one that also gets to me very, very much. Tools has finally come out to talk about what actually went down. Of course, she... it was a stillbirth, you know, she was pregnant and we know that she was expecting. But then after a while, we didn't
know anything again.
And then we knew something had happened on the way. And this was not just a miscarriage, it was a stillbirth.
Okay, she explained, and it's a very sad one. And she said it's a very painful one. In fact, for her to come out to say this, she found it difficult at a point to even talk about it. But she told Genevieve magazine all of this. So she said in the 3rd trimester, the baby died in her womb. So she had to go through labor painful labor, you know, to have especially when she knew that the baby was gone. And then she had to have the baby.
You know, you never know what someone else goes through. So the most we can be is to be kind. You don't know the battle someone else is facing.
Everyone is actually facing something. So just be kind. That is, I mean...
Today looks more like inspiration or something than entertainment news.
You can go wrong by saying, if you don't have any good thing to say to people, just keep quiet. That was how it used to be. You don't go on social media saying nonsense to people. You don't even know what they're going through.
What they're going through, exactly. All right. Okay, moving on from Tools. Davido is in the news, and I definitely, a number of folks said this was not really news. He spoke about how he reconciled with Wizkid, but for me, it was quite big. I was like, this is a step every single person should try to take. I know it's not going to be very easy, but then how did he squash his beef with Wizkid?
Well, he said that he just realized that, see, they're matured, they have things going on, good for them. He's traveled to almost everywhere in the world, according to him. And then he said that, you know, he has 2 artists who are doing well. That was what he said. But I'm wondering, 2 artists, he has more than 2. Okay, but he said that successful,
you know,
and that Wizkid too is doing fine, and he felt that there was no need for it. And I think that that's what's...
It just came like,
way to go. Way to go.
We've come of age, man. No beef, man. Is there anybody you want to settle beef with now? You have the chance now. Settle.
Really? Me, I don't have beef with anybody. I'm okay. I can't wait.
Me, I know that. If you have beef for me, let me know. Me, I don't think I have. You have beef for me so that I can reconcile. I can just say, okay, we are old. Even though I don't have children yet. Or if I have any children, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Okay, but then that's all we can do. We have to go now.
Oh, we have to go?
We have to go.
Okay, you know? I thought we were going to talk about R. Kelly.
Time is not always on our side, right? But we have to move now. Thank you very much, Honeypot. It's always great having you. All right, that's all we can take on entertainment news. We'll go on a short break. It's still Wake Up Nigeria. Don't go nowhere.
Welcome back. It's the Wake Up Nigeria. I know we've all been expecting our chef, but hey, she's finally here. Chef Onome, I think it's time for you to come in. Oh. She's actually trying to, you know, she's trying to get mic'd and all that behind. Hi, Chef Onome. What's going on now? Now, wow, this traffic that just delayed you this morning.
It's so terrible.
Coming from Lekki, right?
Yes, coming from Lekki.
Is it still raining?
No, it has stopped raining. Hey, good morning. Hi.
Nice of you to be here.
Yeah, nice
so what are we making today?
So,
because I can see, I've been trying to help you, you know, sort out while you're getting mic'd behind. So is there any other thing you'd like me to help you out with?
Yes, there are quite a lot of things that I would love you to help me out with. First, you can help me break the egg.
Okay, so what are we making today?
So we're making vanilla cupcake. It's extremely simple, something you can always do at home.
Okay.
For your birthday parties, just for tea party or anything.
I'm looking for our fork. Okay, I'm just going to make do with the spoon so that we could hurry it up because we have, I'm sure that we should have gone
a long way by
now with our, you know.
So I'm going to show you some of the ingredients, why I also pour them in.
Okay, so let's talk about the ingredients.
So we'll have flour,
okay,
sugar, vegetable oil. We also have our flavor.
Okay.
We have our cream.
Trying to put everything on the table as fast as we can.
Yes, because we're very, very late today.
Yeah.
So first of all, we're going to start with 2.5 cups of flour.
Okay, so I'm just going to crack this for you.
Yes.
You also need me to whisk the eggs?
Yes.
Okay. So we are making vanilla cupcakes this morning. And Onome is going to be doing a little bit of frosting, right?
Yes, a lot of frosting.
A lot of it?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Okay. Different designs,
So you're also going to teach us how to make the frostings later on? Okay.
So we're going to add sugar.
Okay.
Then we're going to add our vegetable oil.
I'm just going to take this out for you so that you have enough space to work with.
Okay.
Yes, so just in case you're just tuning in, I know some of you are like, oh yeah, we didn't get to see the chef. Well, she's finally here and we are making vanilla cupcakes. She was actually stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
The traffic this morning, I'm sure, is pretty, you know, outrageous out there. So we're working with, you're mixing up the...
Yes, vanilla cupcake.
Yeah, we are mixing up the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients.
Yes,
right
this
now.
is actually, you can mix everything together because it's vanilla. It's quite different from red velvet and chocolate. So this is a cup of full cream milk.
Okay.
So you just pour it.
Do you need anything to mix with?
Yes.
Okay, so let me help you
help
out with a spoon. What do you need, a spoon, a spatula?
Yeah, if you have a spatula, it will be better.
Okay, so this should do, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so just in case you're just tuning in, we are making vanilla cupcakes this morning. And right now we have our flour. Let's talk about this briefly.
Okay, here we have our flour, we have our sugar, we have our vegetable oil, We also have our full cream milk.
Okay.
So these are the first ingredients you put in before you do any other thing.
Okay. And then our eggs. I'm whisking our eggs.
Yes.
Okay. So how long is this going to take? How long is this process? I mean, when you're done mixing, what's next?
Okay, so when you're done mixing, you simply, you preheat the oven, then you put it in the cupcake paper and put it in the oven.
Okay. So is this okay?
Yeah, it's okay. So you add your egg.
So I'm just going to help you with the cupcakes papers because we are trying to save time here.
Yes. So late today.
Yeah, I know.
Can imagine.
No, you can't even predict the traffic in this Lagos safe.
I don't know why it's always like that.
And why, when it rains, why should there be? I mean, whenever it rains, there's always traffic. Why?
I don't know. It's always like that.
Can't we just leave our house peacefully when it rains and be sure that there'll be no traffic on the road? Are you good with those cupcake papers or not?
Yes, I'm good with cupcakes paper.
Okay.
So you have to try and mix. You can mix with anything you have. If it's a spoon, just something. So you just mix together.
So what are we having our vanilla cupcakes with this morning? Milk or tea or coffee? Since it's really cold, you need something really hot.
Tea. I think tea would be nice. Yeah. I love vanilla cupcake and with tea, but you can also go with coffee.
Okay.
So you have to try and mix very well because of the ingredients and because of the flour, so that flour can blend in properly.
Okay. So I noticed that there is... Okay, you already put in the vegetable oil.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So this is extremely simple.
It is very simple.
Very, very
It's
simple.
very similar to the chocolate cupcakes we made last week.
Yeah, it is, except you don't use your cocoa powder. Chocolate cupcake had a lot of cocoa powder.
Okay.
But vanilla cupcake, you don't use your cocoa powder or your baking soda.
Oh, no baking soda either?
No baking soda.
Why?
Well, because normally the cupcake has a rising agent with the milk. So.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, thanks. It becomes smooth as long as you keep turning it. It becomes smooth.
It's very quick and easy to make. See, in less than a few seconds, that onome has been here. It's ready.
Yes,
well,
it is.
Semi-ready, almost ready. It's just left to go into the oven and it'll come out looking really nice and fluffy, I presume.
Yes.
So we're not using salt.
No. Salt is actually optional. It depends on you if you want salt or not. So personally, I just love using just sugar for this particular cupcake.
And for those going on a diet, would you suggest honey instead of sugar?
For those going on a diet, I'll suggest honey. But when you decide to use honey, you have to use your butter instead of your vegetable oil.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So that the cake can be a little bit firm because, you know, honey is liquid, vegetable oil is liquid too, so it won't be really, thick or properly.
Oh, okay. All right. So just in case you missed out on our last week's edition where we had Onome Heme chocolate cupcakes, you could check it up on our YouTube page at TVC Connects on YouTube and on our Twitter platforms, on our social media platforms as well. So our vanilla cupcakes are almost
ready.
Yes. So
Yeah,
let's start.
So we have to get the pans and quickly put this inside the pans and pour it.
So you need me to help you with the pans?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So which of the pans, please? Because I'm so not familiar with.
We have our cupcake pans. They are very, very good for getting cupcake.
Okay.
So you can just check behind.
Okay. Is it here?
No.
Oh, okay. I think you just come check it yourself because I can't seem to find it. No, I'll just keep helping you mix this up.
All right,
because I'm not very familiar with baking. Yes, I'm proud to say that anyway. But, well, that's why we are Wake Up Nigeria. You get to learn. So I am learning. So this morning we are making vanilla cupcakes, and our chef Onome was pretty late. I'm going to say that.
Thank you.
Like 1,000 times today, yes.
Okay.
Because I was really looking forward to, you know, eating.
Oh, yes, unlike last week.
Yeah, like last week.
Last week, she actually had cupcake with milk for breakfast.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And I had a fun time with you in the kitchen. Yeah. Okay, so let's just start serving the cupcakes. And we'll go on a quick break. When we return, Wake Up Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
Well, it's the second half of Wake Up Nigeria on a Tuesday, and the scores still remain 1-0.
How? What?
My name is Yomi
Who is counting score with you? No, but yeah, well, whatever. Great news is that you don't have to miss any part of this amazing show. We're streaming live on tvcontinental.tv and on Facebook, and you can look us up on TVC Connect. Your comments, make sure you use the hashtag #WakeUpNigeria so we can see them. My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And like I said before, I'm Yomi Okwe. Because today is usually for tech, Steph Mekuye will be joining us to talk about financial technology from the blockchain perspective. Now, you don't want to miss this. If you've always wondered what blockchain meant,
Bitcoin,
this is your time to stick around and ensure you get all the details.
And your comments and reactions coming in on social media are very, very important to us. We love your feedback. And of course, Mike will be reading all that very, very soon.
And finally, child rights advocate Taiwo Akinlami will be running off discussions about teenagers and drug abuse, the way forward. This is the final set that we're going to be having today on the show.
Very, very important.
So this is something quite interesting on social media. Take a selfie of anything you have that you're proud of.
Oh, anything that you're very proud of.
So what if you don't have anything you're proud of?
Really?
Find something.
You have to have something that you're proud of.
Yeah, no matter how small. It could be your watch. It could be your
your shoes
or something. Yeah, just take a selfie.
Okay, so I'm just wondering what's going on. Why haven't we given out any tickets for Infinity Wars?
No, we give out on Friday. We give out on Friday. We'll be giving out on Fridays.
Okay, only
Fridays. So it's movie Fridays. Yeah, so we're giving out on Fridays, and it also someone like 2 people came in yesterday and they picked up their tickets and.
So we were thinking Mike was trying to pull a fast one.
No, fast one. So some Fridays. So but I don't.
Selling tickets at half price.
That'll be some business,
Mike,
you know.
There was something you said during entertainment news that got my attention about doing things for people and them not appreciating you in return. You know, that happened to me. It happened with someone who works with me, actually. I got her a phone.
Wow.
And it wasn't, that was my budget for the phone. Wow. But she wanted another phone with a higher price.
Wow. Of course.
And because of that, you know, she didn't say thank you.
Oh wow.
Wow.
You see, generally...
I was so pissed.
The entitlement... See, I put up a tweet about it. The entitlement mentality in our country now is crazy. How can someone be entitled
I don't understand.
To the extent that...
And it does not affect... I didn't take it away from her salary. I didn't take it away from her salary.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I just felt, I feel you need this phone. Yeah, and I got it for you.
I'll look at what happened yesterday.
It really hurts me.
It was a personal thing that happened yesterday, but then it made me just go, the entitlement mentality, so much so that there are some red flags now. So one instance, if I see it from the beginning, look, get away, man.
Yeah.
Or woman, mostly woman.
Get away. Mike.
Get away.
What I heard...
That's sexist.
Okay.
What I heard yesterday actually is that gratitude is also therapeutic.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that you should do. So you find something to be thankful for.
Wow.
And find someone to thank.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have anybody to thank, call your parents or call someone and just thank.
Let's all thank Oluchi.
Thank God.
Let's all thank Ugochi now.
Ugochi.
For giving us the news.
Thank you, Ugochi, for the news.
Thank you, Ugochi.
Guys, why are you thanking me? I received the thanks. Thank you so much. Members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria have again clashed with officers of the Nigeria police in Abuja The Shiites were protesting the continued detention of their leader, Ibrahim al-Zakzaki. They reportedly threw stones at policemen stationed in the area, and an officer sustained injuries. 2 police vehicles also got destroyed, though calm has now been restored to that part of the country. A federal high court in Abuja has dismissed a suit filed by Ademorin Kuye, who seeks to void the 1-year tenure extension granted to the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress. The court also refused to end the extension of tenures of other party officials at the national, state, local government and ward levels across the country. APC's National Executive Council at its last meeting in February extended the 4-year tenure of the party officials due to expire on June the 30th by 1 year. Now, following that development, 4 APC members aspiring to run for leadership positions in the party filed a suit challenging the extension of the tenures. And former Governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, and ex-Secretary to the Federation, Babachir Lawal, have kicked against the extension of the Oyegun-led National Working Committee of the ruling All Progressives Congress. Speaking at a stakeholders meeting of the party in Yola, the aggrieved party members threatened to dump the party if its national secretariat fails to resolve the Adamawa State Congress crisis. They charged members of the faction to disregard media comments credited to the National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi that there was no parallel Congress in some states. Political observers in Adamawa State are of the view that the recent crisis rocking the state chapter of the party may cost the party dearly come 2019. And the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onegon, has warned that the attackers of the Rivers State High Court complex may not be allowed to go unpunished. Justice Onegon described last week's violence as an act of intimidation of the judiciary by enemies of peace and democracy. Onegon says such show of shame are not to be encouraged by right-thinking members of the Nigerian public. He also said, if allowed, the attackers will go motivated to unleash similar attacks on the appeal court and the Supreme Court whenever they are displeased by the court's decisions. And that's the news. Let's look at the weather forecast.
Let's take a look at the headlines in the papers once again.
Thanks, Mike. We're starting with the Nigerian Tribune. It says, crack in NPDP as Adamu Jibrin, others disown Baraje Oyinlola. On page 3, more about that. Prosecute past corrupt leaders, showing cartels, EFCC. PDP may consider Dan Kwambo as presidential candidate. Security beefed up in Kano as 23 lawmakers sign to impeach Speaker. Omo Agege faces fresh ban. Security tightened as Senate resumes today. Musa Ojo Ajanoku in pole position as new Oyo Speaker emerges today. And finally, again, Shiite protesters clash with police, grind Abuja Secretariat to a halt. That's what we have on the cover of the Tribune.
All right, up next is a New Telegraph and the headline, Patients Groan as Workers Strike Paralyzes Hospitals. Teaching hospitals, medical centers discharge patients. Wow. Buhari, $320 million Abacha loot for vulnerable Nigerians. Why former leaders are corrupt? By Gowon. No parallel Congress in Abia, says mascot Kalu, APC chair. Fresh plot to invade National Assembly thickens. Omoaye vows to resume today. 150 Delta youths moved to Abuja for protest. All on the cover of the New Telegraph.
The cover of the Daily Sun says 2019, PDP woos APC members. Secondus to meet NPDP members in ruling party. Impeachment threat. Police seal Kano Assembly. My fate is in God's hands, says Speaker. Chief Justice of Nigeria warns judicial officers on social media use. Wow. Federal government not interested in conducting 2019 elections, says Wike. APC fracas in Rivers, show of shame, says Abe. Then finally, ASPMDA. We are driving investments in local manufacturing. That's on page 37. That's what we have on the Daily Sun.
Up next is The Guardian, and the headline, gunmen in Bayelsa attack Air Force helipad, kill airmen. Air Vice Marshal orders investigation. Rivers Assembly to petition UN, EU over invasion of judiciary. President seeks reform of conventions as recovery of stolen assets, and a couple of other writers there. Police stall Kano Speaker's impeachment, seal off Assembly, refute report of Enugu church bombing. Police arraign arrested alleged Jewish worshippers for terrorism. Federal government promises early completion of 22.3 billion naira Lagos-Ota Abeokuta Expressway. All on the cover of The Guardian.
And that's all we have time for on the newspaper headlines for this morning.
Of course, the newspaper headlines are proudly supported by Dettol. Be 100% sure.
We have a commercial break coming up, but we will be back. It's Wake Up Nigeria.
Welcome back. And now technology is all about advancement, and it happens to be changing the face of everything we do. Now I've got Steph Mekuye, an executive advisor and strategist for FinTech Worldwide Africa. She's here with me to discuss financial technology, the blockchain experience, which is currently the rave in the world of finance at the moment. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you.
But just before we talk about what we have to talk about, I'm quite excited because I am here ready to learn. Let's take a look at this report by Bimbo Ashebe.
Hundreds of tech enthusiasts from around the world gathered in Nigeria recently for the inaugural blockchain conference. The conference was put together to achieve the aim of enlightening the public about the opportunities of blockchain technology in the world of finance, while also highlighting many other benefits that are to be expected in finance as technology continues to advance.
There's a note of caution to banks, incumbent banks, that a good number of them really need to begin to think of rejigging their business model. So, for example, take a look at it. Just a few years ago, it was the pride of banks to tell you that we have 300 branches, we have 400, 700 branches. But today, who cares how many branches you have? Your branch is the mobile phone of your customers.
I think what is coming out is more automation and more accessibility to financial services for the consumer. Because at the moment, a lot of this is happening mostly by offerings from the banks and large financial institutions, whereas the consumer is a little bit detached from the technology. I think this is going to change over the next few years.
One of the focal points of the conference also happened to be the transition of financial dealings from bank counters to mobile gadgets.
I think I've been to the branch once this year, because maybe I was trying to sign a document and I needed to be physically there, so that was probably the only reason why I went.
I can't remember, it was at least 4 or 5 years ago. I do everything online. There is no need to go to a bank branch anymore.
This expose was put together by a prolific young woman committed to showing blockchain technology to the world as a veritable means of safely conducting financial transactions.
First of all, my background is in law, and my thesis was in peer-to-peer technology surrounding intellectual property law and sharing of data. And it so happens that peer-to-peer technology underpins blockchain technology. So when the whole wave of blockchain technology came into the marketplace, I sort of knew where it was coming from, because peer-to-peer technology is something I had written about in 2008.
With gatherings like this, more technological changes are expected in the world of finance.
Okay, I am definitely going to have fun at this. Now, Steph, my first interaction or my first contact with peer-to-peer had to be with music sharing softwares back then. You know, Kazaa, I think if I remember well, and then up until this time of torrenting.
Yes.
Torrenting is still peer-to-peer.
Yes.
So I think I can understand where.
Yes.
So, but now, for the sake of this discussion, we would have to break it down very, very much. So we're doing blockchain 101, we're dropping it down to the barest minimum.
Right.
What exactly is blockchain?
Okay, so I would go with defining blockchain to start with, and then I'll break it down.
Okay.
So blockchain is a chain of blocks.
Okay.
Then people ask me, what's in a block? Now, data and information is in a block. What else is in a block is a link to the previous block, which is usually the Genesis block, and a link to the other block, the second block.
Okay.
Right? So that is why it's a chain of blocks.
Does the chain have a revelation and end, or is it a continuous chain?
It's an ever-growing chain of blocks, that is immutable and cannot be tampered with.
Okay, so there's no specific end, but then there's a Genesis block.
There's always a Genesis.
There's always a Genesis.
Absolutely.
There's always a beginning.
Yes.
All right. So, and then each block is connected to the block. That
Absolutely.
means there is something that you can read off a data from that links to the next block.
Absolutely.
How is this applicable in the world of technology?
Right. So it has to do with, you started with peer-to-peer technology.
Yeah.
It has to do with peer-to-peer technology. Floppy disk, for example, was one of the very first way that peer-to-peer technology came into existence, and that was in the 70s. So this whole technology we're talking about today has been on for quite a while. Now, going back to what blockchain is, because all I have told you is that it's a chain of blocks and the links.
Okay.
Okay. A blockchain is an open distributed ledger.
Okay.
We know what a ledger is.
Yes, we know the ledger.
Which is,
records
records.
records.
Yeah, records of transactions. And you also have to understand that within a record of transaction, you just don't have money in, money out. You have dates and time and names.
Okay.
All of these things are records. So a blockchain is an open distributed ledger that can record transactions between two parties efficiently, verifiably, and permanent way.
Wow. Wow. Now, this might be quite so much for some people to chew. I can actually get you a lot. But then, so how is this applicable in technology, like in our day-to-day life?
Okay, so let's go back to Facebook, right?
Okay, yes.
So a few weeks ago, there was an issue with Facebook and Cambridge Analytica.
Analytica, of course.
And the reason why there was an issue there was because we have been dealing with a centralized system, which means that all of your data is hosted in one place. I always use the eggs in a basket as a, analogy, to kind of get people to understand it. We have been dealing with a centralized way of hosting our data, which means that we have all of our eggs in one basket. If anything was to tamper with that basket, then we have issues, right? Because you destroy almost all the eggs.
Almost all the eggs, okay.
Now, blockchain technology deals with decentralization, which means that those eggs you have in one basket, you can have it in different places. Copies of different places. So if one problem goes with one egg or one egg gets hit, you have copies of the eggs in different other places. So that is decentralization, and we are moving away from centralization of data to decentralized forms of hosting data. And that's how it applies to us in technological form.
So that means you're saying that in data, it's such a way that data is going to be hard for data to be entirely lost.
Absolutely. With blockchain, the algorithm works in a way that it can't be lost because the system deals with it. It's an immutable system. It is core within the technology to keep it intact. And untampering.
Now this is cool. This is cool. Where does cryptography? How does it? You know?
Yes.
How does it come in? How does it come in?
I have had the opportunity to interview a few people. Not quite interview. I have a conversation about blockchain, and the first thing I hear is cryptography or cryptocurrencies. That's what I hear first.
I hear cryptography, also cryptocurrency, but just let me start with cryptography first.
Cryptography goes as far back as World War II.
World War II.
Yes. So cryptography has to do with encryption of data. So when the Allies used to send messages back in World War II, they would have encrypted messages. So no one can actually see what is going on there. That is what cryptography, that's where cryptography comes from. It's now being applied in technology. And cryptography is, a Greek word called crypto, which means secret.
Yes. Secret.
Hidden message.
Morse code, right?
Yes.
Morse code. That's some form of cryptography.
It's a code. So it is blockchain uses cryptography for privacy reasons as well. Now, I did say that blockchain was an open distributed ledger. Now, for privacy reasons, confidentiality purposes, companies also use private blockchains.
Okay.
So there are different forms of blockchain. There are open public ones and there are private ones.
Okay, let's just you see, you would definitely have to come back. I will pick up. Like we said, this is 101, but this 101, in my head, some part telling me that we need to go, we need to come lower. But finally, let's see, how the cryptocurrency and all of that, that means that, where does cryptocurrency come in all of this?
Cryptocurrency is only a small, tiny innovation of blockchain technology. So blockchain technology is huge.
It's huge.
Now, I would go as far as saying it's so huge that we don't have enough time to talk about it.
Definitely.
So you have voting systems, health records, ID verification, so passports and so on and so forth. Ticketing, you're talking about football earlier this morning. Football ticketing, any form of sports. There is so much blockchain. Pensions, for example. So much blockchain technology can be used.
Wow. Okay, I'm looking forward to our next discussion because I think we would have a clearer picture and we would have much more to, but this was a very, very exciting discussion I had with you. Thank you very much,
Thank
Steph.
you so much.
It was good having you. Looking forward to the next time when you're out.
Thank you so much.
Okay. I hope you enjoyed that. Some of you are looking, what were you saying? She said entertainment I used to. But then I really had fun. And now we'll go on a short break. And when we get back, of course, we have Onome in the kitchen and Chef MM. She likes me calling that. And let's see how the progress of Vanilla Cupcake is going.
Yes, it's Wake Up Nigeria. You're welcome. We're in the kitchen right now, and I'm with Chef Onome. And just in case you're just joining us, earlier we're making
vanilla cupcakes.
Vanilla cupcakes, and we'll just go through the recipe quickly. And how did we arrive at this? Just for the benefit of those just joining us. Onome.
Okay, for those just joining us, the vanilla cupcake is really simple. You don't really have to separate your ingredients unlike the other cupcakes.
Okay.
First, you need 2.5 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar. You need 1 cup of milk, full cream milk, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, and your vanilla flavor and salt, but salt is actually optional. Yes. And so you just simply pour all of them in a bowl and mix together.
What about flavoring? You forgot to.
Yeah, flavoring. Flavoring is also a little bit optional though. But preferably vanilla flavor should be used.
Okay.
Yes, for this cupcake.
And then we toss it into the oven for how many minutes?
For 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yes, 15 minutes, quite fast.
Wow.
Yes, very simple.
And earlier, this is so, as you can see, very soft.
Yes, and fluffy.
Fluffy. I think that vegetable oil gives it that gloss.
Yes, it does.
Oh, fantastic. All right, so Chef Onome is going to be teaching us how to frost our cupcakes, right? Okay, so let's get to it quickly.
So how to frost? First, you need your buttercream. Now, how do you get your buttercream? You can decide to use your white butter or just your ordinary butter, salted butter preferably. Okay. Then you need, like, for you to get this particular frost to be thick.
Okay.
You have to make like ×2 of whatever butter you're using. For example, if you're using 500 grams of butter, you're going to use 1,000 grams of icing sugar
Wow.
So it's preferable you beat your butter first with your electric mixer. Then you add your icing sugar bit by bit until you get this texture.
So hopefully you teach us that.
Yes, yes. I'll have a special class for frosting. Yes, yes.
You should.
So I'm going to show you how to frost your vanilla cupcake. Apart from vanilla cupcake, any other cupcake, there are different styles of frosting. Frosting is very interesting.
So how do you, I mean, how do you get this?
Okay, so this is a piping bag.
Yeah.
A piping bag, you can get it at anywhere, your local departmental store, in the market. This is a nozzle. So this is your rose nozzle. So all you have to do, go to the market and say you need a rose nozzle, and that's all. They will give you this one. So you just simply put your nozzle into the piping bag. So this is what you get. Then fill it with the buttercream.
Okay.
So for you to use it, you have to make sure it's quite tight, that you can press easily. Yes.
Okay.
So
you mentioned earlier that there are different types of. You go ahead while you go ahead with the frosting. You mentioned earlier on that there are different types of frosting.
Yes.
So
we have
telling us.
Yes, we have your simple buttercream frosting.
Okay.
You have your cream cheese frosting.
Okay.
You have your chocolate frosting.
Okay.
You also have your fondant, but it's not practically frosting. You can use it to cover your cupcakes too.
So I also see bars of chocolate here, and what are these things? I call them sprinklers.
I call them sprinklers too,
oh,
but
so
they are
I'm not
edible.
wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. They are edible sprinklers.
Okay.
So you can use them to decorate your cupcake.
Okay.
So for this, we're having just a simple cupcake that is rose.
Okay.
So you don't really you don't really have to decorate, but you can. But first of all, this is it.
Okay. So I guess when we come back, rounding off the show, we'll see the finished results of this. But we have to head on to Titi and Mr. Taiwo Akinlami, who will be teaching us or enlightening us on a parenting discussion on drug abuse. Over to you, Titi.
Thanks so much, MM. Please save a cupcake for me. We've been discussing so many different issues concerning raising teenagers in the 21st century. One of them is this prevalence on drug abuse. Now, the youth is our focus, and we started this conversation about 2 weeks ago. Yomi was the one that had the steering wheel then, but I'm taking it over here with Mr. Taiwo Akinlami. Where we left off was a crucial place where we were trying to ensure parents are more aware of this situation and the realities on ground. But I was hoping that we could come from a place of personal experience with you this morning.
Okay. It will be my pleasure. I have had the opportunity, or I think I've had the commitment, to tell my stories as much as possible, because I know that stories are powerful. They talk about the profound experiences that one has had. I think I started experimenting with drinking and smoking at very early age, and that is attributable to the fact that my father was a smoker. He chain smoked. I mean, he smoked. He could smoke the entire factory, and so I saw him smoking when I was young. So by the time I was 12 years old, that was when I got into secondary school. So I can remember vividly that I started experimenting with cigarette. But earlier, before then, I started drinking also, because my father also drank. And many days he would be drunk. He won't be able to find his way home. They have to come call us to bring him home. And that's one of the things, that's why one of the things I said earlier in previous weeks was the fact that children get into drugs by example, by the example they see, either of their parents or those around them in the community. So since when I was very young, I've started buying beer for my father when he wanted to entertain visitors. I'll go buy the beer. I saw them drank it. My father used to drink this hot drink. They call it Shiman Shinap. Okay. So he would give it to me. He would say, Taye, take this Shiman Shinap inside. It's not that you should drink out of it and add water. And he said that so many times to the point that I began to think that there is a similarity between this Shiman Shinap and water. So I started taking small shots, and quickly replace it with water. So
he actually planted that seed?
That seed in me too. So before I knew it, by the time I became an adult, a teenager, And I had the opportunity of going to the university. I just ran mad because in that place, that was the first time I was going to be on my own. And so a guy saw me the way I was chain smoking. Remember, I started smoking very early. My appetite for smoking was very large. I was having chest pain, serious chest pain. I did all kinds of x-rays. And the doctor looked at me and asked me, do you smoke? You know, I couldn't tell him I smoked. I said, no, I wasn't smoking. And because they couldn't see anything, you know, when I had the chest pain, it was as if my whole heart was going to collapse and I was going to die. But at the same time, I couldn't stop smoking because in the midst of my friends, there was no way I was going to tell them I wasn't smoking anymore. So because of peer pressure, because of lack of self-esteem, self-worth, I still had to put up, you know, the stamina, the show of a strong boy. Who, and I wasn't smoking light cigarette. I was smoking cigarette like more. Benson & Hedges, made in England, and all of those things. So those are the kind of cigarette I was smoking, and it was hard. So when this guy saw me change smoking, and he said, have you tried Indian hemp? I said, no. Wow. So he introduced me to Indian hemp. And when he introduced me to Indian hemp, by the time I started smoking Indian hemp, he became afraid. The boy himself became afraid because I had to buy a parcel of Indian hemp and put it under my bed to ensure that I had my fill every time. But something happened to me, you know, and I was like that, you know, every day. So I'm
seeing a trend here of influence.
Yes, influence and progression. Okay. One example of my father and those around me, then if you start, research has shown that those who experiment with drug or who get addicted, who get used to substances, they start when they start early most of the time, and they start with lesser substance. Like you start with cigarette, then you graduate to other things. Then at that stage, I felt like there was nothing I could do without taking Indian hemp and all of that.
I have to ask, was there ever a point that somebody could have pulled you out of it? There were about 3 different stages of drugs that you were trying out as you were growing older. Was there any point that someone could have pulled you out?
Well, it would have been difficult because I went full, you know, it was full, I went full all out when I got to the university.
Okay.
You know, because at that point, I was not only smoking cigarette and Indian hemp, I was drinking anything available. Call it gin, call it burukutu, call it palm wine. I will be drunk and I will vomit and I will sleep in the midst of my vomit. Only for me to wake up that I slept in the midst of my vomit.
I'm trying to find out if, you know, there's anything a parent can do, because at this point...
At that point, you see, this is the problem. Once you don't inculcate the right value system in your children from the beginning, first by example, the thing is that the primary responsibility of a family is to inculcate positive value system. Teach children the law of consequences. Consequences to you, to the family, then to the general public.
Okay.
Now, when we don't inculcate that from the beginning, now you send the children out, whether you send them to boarding school or you send them to university, those children are supposed to be value ambassadors of the family. Okay. But there's no value to embrace. The lifestyle they have learned from home is what they take out. And unfortunately, whatever you give to your child, the child multiplies. My father did not smoke Indian hemp. My father stopped at cigarette. He couldn't go beyond cigarette. But when I got to the university, I was introduced to something higher because of the kind of upbringing I had. But the good thing was that at a point in my life, February 16, 1997, I became a Christian. I gave my life to Christ. And that was the turning point in my life. I had thought by just giving my life to Christ, everything was going to be okay. But I realized that the urge to smoke, to do all of those things were still there. I began to work on myself. You know, I began to speak to myself. I began to study. I began to, you know, I realized that to break any habit, you need 2 things. Number 1, you need the power of the will. The will is so powerful to decide that I will never do this again. You know, a friend of mine was going to stop smoking Indian hemp. Said when he was going to stop, one day he called a meeting of himself and Indian hemp. And he put 3 rounds of Indian hemp on the table. And he said, Indian hemp, please, enter me now, because I'm told that you are powerful. You are the one that make me high, make me misbehave. Now I want to stop you. Now I want you to stop me. No, 3 raps. Oh yeah, enter my mouth. They couldn't. Though he stayed there, he slept, he woke up. You guys are still here. You can't enter me, so you are this powerless. It means without my cooperation with you, you cannot mess me up. So
I'm thinking you had the self-esteem at this point to get to this place where you could start the process of stopping.
I think because the first thing...
I'm thinking now, yes, you said you gave your life to Christ.
Yes.
And you realized that all those urges were still there.
Yes.
But that realization, I'm wondering if there are young people that have not been able to get to this realization. I feel like there's still more behind how you gave your life.
Now this is it. I got to a point in my life, because if I had to tell my story is a book. And so I was not only hooked on drugs, I was hooked on many things. My life was a bundle of mess and a bundle of shame. And so because of that, and at the point I came to Christ, I saw it as the only option left for me. And that's why I did that. And so now, but coming to Christ also does not mean you just sit down and everything was going to be rosy, everything was going to be fine. You have a lot of work to do. The power of the will, I can decide the next turn of my life. I cannot allow substance that does not talk, that does not move, that does not have breath to continue to control me, that I have substance and I have breath. There's something I can do. So I took that decision. And I keep telling young people. The other day, a young man called me after I was on radio to say I spoke about my life, sexual immorality and drugs and all of that. And he asked me, "Sir, what can I do to stop?" I said, "Stop. Stop. All you need to do is to stop." How do you stop? There will be withdrawal syndrome, there will be all of that. All of that can be handled. But the number one thing you need to do, I have done that effectively. 20 years I've not taken any substance. I've not smoked Indian hemp. I've not smoked cigarettes. I've not drank anything. I've not been drunk 20 years. You know, I have been able to do that by the grace of God and a commitment to ensure that that happens in my life. And my life has taken a different turn completely. Now, if I were dead, life would have been fair. If I were in psychiatrist hospital, life would have been fair. But by the sheer power of decision, and there's other issue, which if we come back, if I have the time, yes, I can tell you the other thing you need to do when you are addicted to substance and how you can get out of it.
No, I have to say a big thank you to you once again for coming to the studio and, of course, for sharing your story, or part of your story, yes, because there is still so much more. And yes, we will definitely be inviting you back to continue with this conversation. Thank you very much. All right. But I have to invite you to the kitchen. I know that you probably are not addicted to cake right now, but we can make you cake addicts here. We have one of our chefs in the studio, and she has been making something very sweet for us to taste. Mr. Taiwo, welcome.
Please have a seat.
Take a seat.
I should sit.
Yeah.
So it feels really anticlimactic coming from that conversation to sweet cupcakes. But I think this is a way to celebrate family day.
Yeah, I think it's that there are people who are sufficiently motivated and inspired by your story. Not just that, but also some of your words of encouragement, talking to young people over the last 3 weeks or so.
Yeah. Okay, so quickly, Chef Onome, take us through how we came to these results.
Okay, first we started with making the vanilla cupcake with sugar, flour, vanilla flavor, vegetable oil, eggs, and salt, which is optional. And so we mixed all of them together and put them in the oven.
Thank you so much, Chef. And of course, thank you. Thank you to our friends at Homely NG and, of course, Fola's Place for all the help they provide to us. It's been a fun show today.
It has. Thank you to all our guests for joining us this morning.
Boss, please. I have a cupcake.
We'll see you again tomorrow for...
Thank you so much. Bye. Have a great day, everyone.